What's up, everybody? My name is Adam Palmer. I am the new host of a show here on the Sports Card Nonsense YouTube channel called Daily Nonsense. I am a writer for collectibles on SI. I've also been creating sports card content for YouTube and Instagram and TikTok since 2018. I want to give a big shout out to Jesse, Mike, and Danny for this opportunity to do this show. Now, let's get into it. So, before we get into the first official show here, I've been giving away tips for the National. We are now 7 days away, which is absolutely insane. I'll be heading out to Chicago on Monday and I'll be there until Sunday. So if you're there, make sure you say hi. So today's tip is going to be that Saturday and Sunday, there is some potential for some good deals. You're going to run into dealers who don't want to bring some of the inventory back. Don't assume that dealers are going to be giving out discounts on any cards, but just know that if you're there on Saturday, especially Sunday, there is a chance that you might find some deals on the show floor as dealers are trying to leave. So today is one of the bigger days in the sports card hobby. It is the release of 2025 Topps Chrome Baseball. There is 2025 Topps Chrome, and then there's Topps Chrome Update, which Topps Chrome Update is the one that has those big patches in there. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But the thing that I want to talk about here with the release, I think that Topps Chrome, in my opinion, has become I don't know, I want to say a much more important release here in the hobby than it has been over the past few years. We've seen a pretty decent shift between Bowman Chrome, Flagship, and then Topps Chrome in terms of like what is the most popular card for baseball players. If I were to be honest, most of the time I'm going to say Bowman Chrome is the most important card. But then there has been a flip flopping between Flagship and Topps Chrome. I think ultimately, if you are buying any of these cards, if you are, I don't know, I don't really like using the term investing necessarily, but if you are buying these cards and hoping to flip them, or you're buying them and hoping to hold them, the Topps Chrome is probably the way to go versus the Flagship. There's just nowadays there's so many base cards that come in Flagship that it gets harder and harder each year to really suggest buying that card. I also, would say probably going with numbered parallels or even the non-numbered parallels, the silvers as they would call them for Panini. I believe they're just refractors that Topps calls them. So I would go with those cards versus some of the base cards. Now, you're probably going to find that there's less Topps Chrome base cards than there are like Flagship Series 1 and Series 2. That is kind of the big thing here about Topps Chrome also, is that it's a combination of Series 1 and Series 2 rookies that are getting their first Topps Chrome autos, first Topps Chrome cards just in general. In this year, you're going to be looking out for Christian Campbell, James Wood, Jacob Wilson, Cam Smith is also going to be good. Nick Kurtz, who I believe is the front runner for AL MVP. Unfortunately, you're not going to find the new rookie Mizorowski from the Brewers. He didn't make his debut in time. Other names that didn't: Jack Caglione and then Roman Anthony. Those players, unfortunately, are not going to be in Topps Chrome. They're not even going to be in Topps Chrome Update either, which I think is unfortunate because it feels like those players made their debut not like that long ago, but like months ago, it feels like. And I've always been sort of in this, I had a mindset that like if you're playing over half of the year, realistically, you should probably be in that year's products. And the thing with Topps Chrome that I do like is that there's only two series. In my opinion, for Flagship, I understand, it's from a money perspective why they go with three different versions. They go with Series 1, Series 2, and Topps Update because of the money. But I think I would say going with a Series 1 and then an update for Flagship might be a decent idea just to bring down some of the confusion. Because what ends up happening, a player like Christian Campbell, he makes the opening day roster. He's in Series 2, but he's only a short print. So it's like he isn't gonna get his first official Topps Flagship rookie until Topps updates. The same thing that happened with Ronald Acuna. I forget if it happened with Juan Soto. I know it happened with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in 2019. They all made their debuts. They were on the opening day roster, and then they were in Series 2, but as short prints. So I think if, realistically, I think that they should get away with the short prints in Series 2 and then reduce the number of Flagship products to a Series 1 and then a Topps update, similar to how they have Topps Chrome and then Topps Chrome Update. I think that, in my opinion, those are kind of the ways that I would improve this product. I still think, like I said, it's growing more on me. And I think if you are, buying and selling sports cards, it is a good idea to watch what Topps is doing with their marketing. Like they are throwing the craziest cards into this Topps Chrome product. Obviously, in Topps Chrome Update, that's where you're going to find the rookie debut patches. So, not in this version of Topps Chrome. In Topps Chrome Update later on in the year, that's when they have whatever it is, 500 of the rookies all get their cards in there. Um, but like I said, I think if you really want to follow, and I'm using follow the money kind of as a loose term here, I don't necessarily really mean the money, but follow what Topps is actually doing with some of their marketing. Like, look at how they are marketing certain products. Like, look at how they do Bowman. Look at how they're what they do with Flagship, and then same with Topps Chrome. And look at the big cards that really go in there and the marketing sort of that goes behind. And maybe that is sort of what I mean by follow the money, like the marketing money that goes behind some of these products to promote the products to people that want to buy them. Um, like I said earlier, I think my similar advice to I was talking about on another show, I was talking about Prism, and I think that you can't really go with Prism base anymore. I think it's probably more likely that you should be going with some of the parallels and the numbered parallels. I think the unnumbered parallels too, in my opinion, Topps doesn't do them as much as Panini does, but I don't know. I think on one hand, I like the unnumbered parallels because it gives people another opportunity to kind of, instead of having to spend like, I don't know, 5, 10x on like a numbered parallel, it gives them the opportunity to spend like 2 or 3x and still hold enough of the value. Like you're still going to see a ton of like the refractors, and I believe, well, not in Flagship, they have the rainbow parallel, and then they have a gold parallel, and then they have a gold numbered parallel. I don't think they have that in Topps Chrome. I believe the refractor is the first step up when it comes to that big card that like is a parallel that is going to be more rare. And that's essentially, that is why I think that those cards are so much potentially more important than some of the regular base cards. Now, I think with Topps Chrome, you are going to find that there are less than probably Flagship just in general. So overall, I think you are, if you're buying Flagship, or if you're buying Chrome over Flagship, you are going to find that there's probably less Chrome than there are Flagship. They may even be a little bit harder to grade if you're trying to get them graded, because with the Chrome, you're going to see that it shows the scratches on the card probably a lot easier than you would with the paper. And it's not like Bowman where you're getting paper and the Chrome all in one pack. Like Bowman Baseball, and then obviously Bowman Chrome only has the Chrome versions, but with Bowman Baseball and Bowman Draft, you're getting a combination of the paper cards and the Chrome cards, where in Flagship and Topps Chrome, which I guess you could almost call Topps Chrome Flagship as well because it's the same design, you are going to find that those are two completely separate products. And the rookie list is pretty good for some of the autos. They're going to be the first rookie autos. You're going to see a lot of the big names getting pulled, like the one of one superfractors of whoever. I know that Topps and some of their marketing was putting out the James Wood one of one, so we know what that's going to look like. I think that this year's design, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the chromium version of the design, because it's it looks okay, I think, on the regular paper version when it's not shiny. But when it is shiny, I think it'll be interesting to see how those names look. I'm hoping that it looks good. I think it should. At this point, you probably have seen cards being pulled all over online. It's like I said, one of the biggest days in the hobby. Definitely exciting. Getting close to the National. Hope you all are getting ready. Hope you enjoy the show and enjoy the ride we're about to go on. And I'll see everybody in the next one.